too late. Check how quickly it explodes. Watch this.
Let's just do the intro quickly for if people that don't know you are Brian Morgan. You've been racing for many years, GTI Challenge champ, raced at a high level in Polar Cup. You've won a couple of Polar Cup races, and you've done endurances before, I think.
No.
So was this
the only endurance I've done was the end of last year,
the GTI Challenge? Yes. And we both raced in that one. And I mean, you've been racing for many years. You did karting, I think, as well.
Yeah.
So you've done
7.
So you've done a few laps. Right.
Yes, I've done 1 or 2.
1 or 2 laps. And is this the worst thing that's ever happened to you?
By far. Before I rolled a Polar Cup car about 6 times before the back straight at Kalani, got out of there perfectly fine. I hit a wall at 140 k's an hour after brakes failed straight in, but tire wall, and I was fine. And this, to be honest with you, wouldn't have been that bad if there was a tire wall in front of the gate, which pierced the fuel tank.
Oh, so the gate ruptured the fuel tank.
Yes, that's what happened.
Oh, and
so
what kind of fuel tank is it?
Like a tire wall, and then you could wheel it back and forth, so the gate's not exposed. It would be a different story. The car structure was great. The integrity of the car there was great, but it was just the metal on metal going through there, rupturing the fuel tank, and then obviously one of the hot components of the car made it burst into flame. And we had a half a fuel tank to go because still another 40 minutes of racing to go.
Oh, because it's an enduro. Normally you wouldn't have that much fuel at all.
Yeah, exactly.
So talk me through the whole lap running up to that moment. So you start, it's Swartkop, so you start the lap, you go around the left-hander and you start the lap. Everything's fine then. You do your checks and balances, everything's fine. You come through the hairpin, everything's fine.
Yeah. Okay, so start of the lap, their brakes were fading a little bit early on in the race, so we just had to, nurse. But if you just tap the brakes just before you got to a corner, then that'd be alright. So you can get through.
So that's an old school way of braking. You dab the brakes with the left foot, and then it's pressure's there, and off you go. It's fine.
So on that lap, I was behind a Mini trying to get past him. It wasn't racing against him, but he was a bit slower than me, so I wanted to get past him. Just carry on. Because we were about 2 laps in the lead at this stage.
So you guys were leading as well?
Yeah, no, we won the race. We were leading by 2 laps. Yeah.
What?
In our class.
Yeah.
In our class. And so I came to turn 4, hit the brakes, and then went up the hill and had a very nice run on the Mini. So I went inside.
And that's the uphill section, the tabletop section. So it's just to give people an idea. It's a long sweeping right-hander uphill, and then it's flat out towards a very tight right-hander.
Yeah. It's a tight third gear corner.
Yes.
And I got next to the Mini, and then I broke near the 100-meter board, which is quite early if you are doing like a really serious lap time, and pedal went straight to the floor. And then I backed off and pushed it again, and it just didn't work. And then I went on the runoff on the exit of turn 5, like straight off, get down to 4th, just try to slow the car down, get down to 3rd again. And as soon as I went to 3rd, the back wheels locked up because it was obviously too early to change gear. And I wanted to slow down. And then it spun me right around, and I went backwards into the gate, which spun me around forward, luckily, because that gave me room to get out. And then I braced myself. I thought, okay.
I'm just thinking now, if your door was trapped, if you were trapped in between there, that would have been a big problem, eh?
I mean, I was very lucky. We could have been way worse. Put it that way. Yeah.
Okay, so now what speed were you doing when you hit the brakes and you realize nothing's happening?
I think we go about close to 160 going up the hill there. So I hit the brakes, I don't know, around that sort of speed, maybe 150. I can't be sure. My data thing was obviously burnt beyond recognition. So we can't be 100% sure what speed I was doing, but it's quick. You're in 5th gear there, going fast up the hill, and these cars aren't slow, so
No, they're
it was
not.
quite quick.
That's got the
Yeah,
1UZ engine, a 1UZ V8 engine, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, it's a
Yeah,
Lexus V8
Lexus
engine. Yeah.
V8. Yeah. So I mean, that engine's those slouches are popular for the Cobra setup, and the Cobra is a nice car. It's a nice handling car.
Beautiful, man.
Yes.
Seats and handles nicely, and everything was working perfectly. We looked after the car, we nursed it. For our first endurance race, I was very proud of Donovan and myself for how we looked after the car and how it was going, even with the knowledge of the brake problem.
But that's the thing with
But
endurance racing. It's often the walking wounded that make it across the finish line.
yeah, but I really didn't think anything of it. I thought it was just be a big bang, big crash, and then I would have got out the car. But the explosion took me by surprise, and then
So now you're sliding towards the scene of the accident. It's
yeah,
fine. These things
yeah,
happen. It's a
yeah,
crash. We're gonna hit
yeah,
the wall, and then we're gonna get out, and we're gonna have a beer.
yeah. Like a disappointed beer because we just
Yes.
lost the race.
Yes.
But
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
that's what we were going to do. And then as the car became stationary, about maybe 1 or 2 seconds later, it just went up in flame. And then I was like, shit. Undid my buckle, and then I
Twist
didn't even
buckle.
open it. Yeah, it was 5 point harness, very good safety belts, and just clipped it, and then dived out. I didn't even open the door. I just pulled myself off from the roll cage,
It just
fell
shows
on the
you.
floor, and
It just shows you. I
yeah,
just need to log out of WhatsApp web. Otherwise, we're gonna get a whole bunch of bling blings over here.
okay,
WhatsApp web log out. So it just shows you how important those safety harnesses are. Eh?
yeah. I mean, you got to have a 5.1, the one between your legs, then two across your waist, and then two over your shoulders.
Yeah.
I also had a Hunts device, which I think helped me a lot because I had no impact injuries. If I wasn't wearing it, maybe I got knocked out. I would have died in there, you know. So
I know
thanks
when I
for
hit
the
the
Hunts
wall
device.
and I blacked out for a split second because my seatbelt stretched and
Yeah,
my head hit the steering wheel with the helmet on,
yeah,
and I had a cut
yeah,
across my head here. And
yeah,
for a split second, I just blacked out. It's the weirdest
yeah,
feeling. You're just like gone for a second, then you wake up and you're, oh shit, I just crashed.
yeah. And the Hunts device prevents that kind of thing. And luckily, because if I had to black out just for a couple of seconds, even 2 or 3 more seconds would have made my burns a hell of a lot worse, and I might
How
have
how
been
bad
disorientated.
how bad are the
Okay,
burns?
so I'll talk you through the injuries.
If you don't mind, you
My
don't have
right,
to say anything you don't want to say. Eh?
no, man, I'll talk you through. Both my hands are second, and there's one small third-degree burn on this part of my thumb.
Mm,
The rest is my right hand's actually not that bad. It's second-degree burns all around,
mm.
and my left hand, because it was on the gearbox and where most of the petrol gushed down to, got the brunt of the burn. So I've got a third-degree burn on there, second degree around the top and on my fingers. My legs, my upper thighs, I've got first or second degree burns just around the top. But
But
that's
the,
because
the
of all
package the
petrol.
package is good, right? The package is safe.
The package is great. No issues there.
Yeah, as a race car driver, that's a very real concern. I'm scared of those
Yeah.
5 point seatbelts. You know the one that goes down the middle because I'm like,
Well, that's what I had, and I think I hit it backwards. So I mean,
yeah,
that wouldn't have. I didn't hit it forward. I might have popped the ball.
yeah.
But,
Ugh.
yeah,
But I'm just
yeah.
glad you're okay. So the flames are now. What do you see when the car's on fire? You just see
Okay,
red,
so
eh?
as it blew up, yeah, all I saw was like yellow, red flames right in front of me like this, because of I think the petrol went all over me, and then I saw that unclipped and rolled out, and I was still on fire because I remember landing on the outside of the car when it was still on flames, and then I looked around, I had flames, so I tried to dust it off, and then I just dropped and rolled, and it took maybe about 2 seconds for it to go off. I rolled a couple of times, and then I was clear of the fire. So the race suit, the gloves that I was using, the Sparker gloves, the Sparker boots. If I was wearing any lesser equipment, I don't want to think about what injuries I might have had because my face is perfectly fine. The Nomex 5 mastered its thing, my new Arai
So you're
helmet.
wearing a Nomex mask as well.
Yeah,
I don't
Nomex
generally
mask.
wear that, eh? But yes, as you think to
Yeah,
yourself, ooh, it's probably
I
a
think
good
you should do
idea.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
You also don't think these things can happen, but
Nobody
they
does.
do.
Nobody does.
Yeah,
And we
yeah,
all like a brave in the morning on race day.
yeah,
This is
exactly.
we're gonna win today. Nothing's gonna go wrong.
Yeah, and it was a freak accident. I mean, it shouldn't have happened, but it did, and hopefully SWAT Corps can learn from it by putting some more barriers down there, and
Because
so
that's at the
hopefully it
end
doesn't
of a
happen
long
to anyone else.
straight. The first
Yeah,
time I
and the
drove
runoff
there,
area is also tar. It's tar on the left side of the runoff. There's kitty litter on the right, but I was on the tar area. maybe they should look at putting some kitty litter there or something.
I've been around that corner fast and realized, because there's certain corners where you go around and you go, wow, that runoff's pretty small.
Yeah,
And it's not small when you're taking the corner, but it's small if you miss the corner. That's the
it's
problem.
small. Any runoff is small when your brakes fail. So, I mean, it's just it is what it is. I just feel like if they had more tires around in front of the gate there, maybe tires on wheels that they can wheel open, because there is an exit point of accidents and stuff.
Yeah.
So if they had that, it just would have avoided the metal on metal contact, which would have pierced the petrol tank.
Yo. That's so
Yeah.
crazy, eh? Yes, man. Anything else you want to point out? Because I don't even know what to ask. I've never had a situation like this. I don't know, like, what goes through your mind.
Maybe just don't skimp out on cheap race gear. Buy the proper stuff if you're going to race main circuit. Make sure it's fireproof. Make sure you got fireproof gloves. Wear a fireproof undershirt and a balaclava. I don't care how uncomfortable it is. Just do it. These things can happen, and just be careful and know what to do like step by step what to do once these kind of things do happen to you.
We're supposed to know that. We're supposed to know, as part of your MSA license, you're supposed to practice getting in and out the car. You're supposed to practice getting in and out the car within a certain time. All that type of stuff. But nobody pays attention to that because it's not going to happen to you.
That's it. I don't think there's been an accident like this in many, many years in South African motorsport, where the driver's been in the car while it's exploded. So hopefully it's a bit of an eye opener for people, and they phone the relevant suppliers, and I'm going to get some nice Sparko stuff for my next race.
Yeah.
And so hopefully, I mean, get the best you can.
Yeah. Mr. Morgan, thanks for your time and speedy recovery. I know it's still, the wounds are literally still healing, so I appreciate your time and your candor.
No stress.
But man, get well soon, bro.
Cool, man. Thanks, Ernest. Lekker chatting.
Thank you. And this will be a lesson to all of us. I'm sure I certainly am thinking about my next investment of getting the right layers and the right stuff. Because those things aren't designed to be fireproof. They're designed to be fireproof for a few seconds only.
Yeah.
And the best stuff.
When you've got petrol, exactly. No, you're not supposed to be doused in petrol and then acetylite. You're supposed to be, fireproof, like you say. It was just unlucky, but luckily, you just give yourself the best chance you can and buy the proper stuff.
Yeah. If your hands are out of shot, then you look great. So don't worry about that.
Thanks, man.
Cheers, thanks, man.
Cool, man. I just said we look forward to the next race in PE.
Oh, so you're gonna do the next one?
Yeah.
That's
getting a car built
just on the mental side of things. That's the best way to do it. That you have to get back in that car immediately.
Yeah, man. I didn't even, on the way back to the clinic, I said to the lady that one of the nurses, I was like, shit, man, I wish I had a spare car so we could continue racing this race.
But that's the right mentality to have. That's the winning mentality. If you spin out, if you crash, something bad goes wrong, just get straight back in, put it at the back of your mind, deal with it, and we move forward.
Yeah. Get back on your bike.
100%. Thanks a lot. I'm sure that's the advice your dad's going to give you as well, eh?
Yeah. I'm sure you will, yeah.
Anyway. Thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate it.
Cool, man. Ernest, have a good one.
Cheers, Morgan. Bye-bye.
Cheers, buddy.
See ya.